Welcome to the Women Are Worthy show, the Women Are Worthy Network. I'm Jacqueline Charles, your host, and today I have the honor of having one of my interns, Miss Jade Dupree. She goes to Clayton State University, and her major is film production. Now, I'm trying to put her on the spot because I want to know. We're going to be talking about life, um, senior in college, graduating. What is her life expectations? What does the world expect from her? We're also going to be talking about, anxiety because Jade suffers from that, but trust me, who doesn't? Because I know I do too. So we're going to talk about mental health and what is she doing in this pandemic world. And think about this. The pandemic is relatively new. And for seniors or kids going to school, that's their new norm, and so, basically social distancing and not for me, Jade, I love seeing people. I like being around people. So without further ado, we welcome Jade Dupree and what she's been doing with the Women Are Worthy show. She's been doing our blogs. She's been doing amazing thing with the blogs. We haven't posted the new ones up because we're going through, which I haven't told her, where our website, which is womenareworthy.net, we're working on updating the website and doing so many amazing things. So Jade, welcome. You've been behind the scenes now. The spotlight's on you.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. So let's chat a little bit. You're a senior. You're going to, you're at Clayton State University. Your major is film production. What is it like as a senior during this whole pandemic craze or phase that we have going on?
Oh, wow. Well, at first, because when we got the news that we were pretty much not going back to classes, I was in spring break. So at that point, I'm already exhausted. I'm so glad that I get a break. And now I hear that we're not going back. I'm like, oh, thank God. We can just do online, which I was totally cool with at first. But now that it's continually going down to December, maybe next semester for other students, it's kind of exhausting. It's more draining than you think it will be because you are at home. But for some reason, it just feels a lot more draining and it makes me feel a lot more tired. I don't know why. I guess it's because I don't really know how to manage my time when I'm at home all day.
Mm.
So it's easier for me to just be like, okay, I got to get in my car and actually go somewhere versus I'm sitting at home and I have 5 classes, but I don't go to those classes technically. It was really confusing at first. And I feel like it can be easier for like grade school students, but for college students, it's a really hard adjustment.
And think about people who are going to medical school. Think about
Right.
people who nursing school. So, okay, so you're going through this. So, how does your anxiety play into this?
Well, it plays a major part because I'm not really sure what is going to happen next. It's kind of like you're walking into like this fog and you don't know what's in there or when you're going to get out. So the anxiety builds, especially towards the beginning. But even though it is still relatively new, once you get into the swing of things, it kind of dies down a little bit. But now that I'm graduating in a few weeks and I'm going into the job field, that's a whole nother level of anxiety because I don't know if people are still hiring. There's a gigantic hiring freeze all year, so I'm not quite sure what is next for me. At this point, I would usually already have something set and ready to go and I can just relax and enjoy my holiday, but I don't know what's coming come January, so.
So, what is your expectation? So, what do you think our expectation is from someone who's just graduated college, has some hands on experience from interning and doing her own projects? What do you think the expectations are?
Well, I think, well, coming from, my parents, excuse me, they, obviously my mom is expecting me to get a job ASAP and move out and become my own adult and pay my own bills. And that's what most adults want for their children. Most parents want for their children. And most adults that will probably be hiring me in the near future would want me to be on my game and be as responsible as I can be and be 100% at my tip top. So I'm just trying to prepare myself for when the transition comes from being a college student to being a full adult.
So, what advice would you give someone who's high school and, college, who's just going through? Because think about it, a couple of years ago, your life was your own, meaning,
Mhm.
you had your set schedule, where now it's a bit different. What advice would you give someone who's going through turmoil and they just don't know how to cope with this?
Well, my number one advice is therapy. I love therapy. I'm an adamant for therapy, but I can't like go out and tell people, okay, no, you need therapy. Like I can't just say it like that. That's kind of insulting. But I do recommend therapy all the time with all of my friends, family members, anyone that I can talk to. It's just therapy. Just because you have someone as like a third party that's not related to you or have any emotion towards you that is listening and give you good advice based off of just the facts that you've given them alone and not just based off of I've grown up with you, so I know how you do this, this, and this. So I definitely do therapy. I meditate at least 20 minutes before I get my day started. It kind of helps me calm my brain down because I have a lot of things that go on in my brain. So I definitely meditate. It helps calm the noise. And I try to speak positive affirmations every day. I try, sometimes I don't, but I definitely try to speak positive things. It's very easy to say negative things, and it's a lot harder to say good things and positive things on a daily basis. So I try to do that.
Usually, older people have something negative to say, like, oh, the millennials, they're lazy, the Gen X, and yada, yada, yada. What would you like someone who's watching now who may want to hire you? What would you like to tell them about people in your age group who's very responsible? And let's go ahead because now people are hiring people who have retired. They're
Mhm.
hiring veterans. So what would you like to say?
Well, I definitely say the biggest negative thing that we get about being a millennial is that we're lazy or that we don't care about a lot of things. And I definitely don't feel like that's true, at least for me or the people that I hang around. That's definitely not true. Um, I've had jobs since high school. I've worked with my grandparents in the yard and cleaning houses since before I could even remember. So I think kind of me working is just in me. And it's in most of my peers and most of my friends that I've come across. So I think it's just because of the fact that we're kind of the first generation to be really involved with social media that we literally see everything. And it takes a real emotional toll on people, especially us millennials, because older generations, they didn't have access to literally every single thing. We see every single riot, we see every single shooting, we see every single, like it just pops up on our feed 24/7. And that takes emotional toll on us and as it does for most people nowadays. And I think that's probably one of the most negative things is that we don't care, but I don't think that's the case. I think we're just overly emotional because of the fact that we see all of these things all day, every day on every single social media platform, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, live streams. It's crazy. Like for example, the election, literally every single social media platform, you couldn't get away from it. When Black Lives Matter was a big thing this year, we couldn't get away from it unless we just cut our phones off and then we just be one with ourselves like we probably could have done in older generations.
Well, I know for me, because I do social media, it can be an overload, and it
Mm-hmm.
can be it can cause anxiety if you allow it, because you feel like the pressure. I got to post this, I got to do that, I
Mm-hmm.
got to do that. And I'm not one that we always have to post just positive stuff. We have to let people know what's going on in our lives, because I hear people talk about on Instagram, they show you the best of your life and the filters and stuff. I had someone reach out to me and ask me, don't you use filters? I said, well, what you trying to say, I'm not looking good? Because I don't think about that half the times.
Right.
My pictures are not pretty. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
I mean, now I'm doing, the cooking and you want to get the right camera and stuff. Yeah, but sometimes I don't want to. And what I mean is, I know people look at you aesthetically, but I'm
Mhm.
like, I don't want to always, my makeup needs to look right. I get that because this is what I do. This is my job. But I want people to understand it's okay sometimes not being okay.
Mhm.
When it's like, oh, yeah, no, you don't have to put that front up because that's why when you see a lot of people who go on social media as couples and when things go crazy, people are like, but wait a minute, I didn't even
Mhm.
know you guys were arguing because everything was just so pretty. And I
Mhm.
think we need to show, as an older person, we need to show the millennials and on and on and on that it's okay to wake up and not feel good. It's
Mhm.
okay to wake up on the wrong side of the bed. It's okay to have, because for me, I see when things are overwhelming, I have anxiety. And I
Mhm.
realize what that means is because I can't control it and I don't know what's going on. And I'm a type A personality. And my anxiety will get the best of me if I don't meditate. And I'm off balance if I don't meditate, if I don't do my affirmations. And what my affirmations are, the positive stuff I post on social media. It's not really for other people, it's really for me,
Mhm.
because once I put it out there, it's fine. It helps me. So let's get down and dirty. And I do mean dirty, okay? What was it about the Women Are Worthy show, the Women Are Worthy, that made you want to stay on to intern with us? And again, guys, we didn't rehearse any questions. This is just, so I don't know what she gonna say. Okay, but if the screen goes blank, something happened, and they don't know my part. Okay, but what was it like? Or just tell us your experience and good, bad, or indifferent.
Well, one, I was really intrigued by the Women Are Worthy Network because of the fact that it is designed for women by women. I definitely love the fact that, yeah, it's for women by women. And I think that's a really good thing because a lot of times women, especially Black women, get overlooked. And also, this is a great opportunity to actually be involved in a company and a network that actually shines a light on women and not just oversee us. So I felt like that was a really good opportunity for me to get involved in something like this. Doing my vlogs, and my blogs were great. I didn't think that it was going to be something that I was going to be doing. I walked in thinking that I was going to be doing something completely different than what I ended up doing, but it's helped me on a deeper level than just interning and getting my internship credits or anything like that. It really helped me internally, emotionally, and mentally, and it definitely boosted up my confidence. It made me feel like I have a voice, and that's just something that I just didn't think that I could really do because my self-esteem wasn't at its best. My confidence wasn't at its best. So when I'm looking at myself in the camera, then I'm turning around and looking at myself while I'm editing, and then I turn around and realize that the world can see what I look like. It really brought to my eyes that I am beautiful. I used to cringe at the look in the mirror or the sound of my voice. I used to cringe, but now I'm like, okay, I look good. I sound good.
Well, let me tell you something. My husband gave me this, and I'm here to show it to you. Beautiful. Okay? You are beautiful.
Thank
You have a
you.
beautiful spirit. Don't what my advice to you is don't let any freaking body dim your light. You hear me, young lady? Because you have so much to offer the world. You are amazing. You were a pleasure to work with. You were,
Thank
and I
you.
don't consider my interns just interns. I consider them part of our Women Are Worthy village. And you need to make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, our
Yeah.
Facebook, and all of that. You have been an amazing, your mother and father did a great job with you. You're respectful. Your family did a great job. Your grandparents, from the seed that you come from, and you're now a flower. You're no longer a plant, you're a flower. You're blooming. Oh, I need to write that down. I be saying some good things sometimes. I be caught up in it. You are an amazing human being.
Thank
Not woman, not
you.
man, human being. And just know the world is your oyster. Even though we're going through this pandemic, You are the master of all those quotes that out there, you're the master of your universe. You are. Because now you have your degree, you have some experience. Don't ask for things. You take it. You go out there, put it out there. It's yours for the taking. Now let me bring it down a little bit because I can be hyped. So now, how are you? Because you said is your anxiety due to the pandemic? Is it due to, or you had anxiety prior to the pandemic?
Well, I have anxiety and clinical depression. I've kind of been fighting with both of those battles since I was like 13. And once I started college, it kind of escalated. And so I've had about 10 years of therapy. So that helps. I'm actually kind of scared that my therapist is going to go away sometime because I really don't want a new therapist in my lifetime. But I've been with her for 10 years and she's helped me out a lot. But when I got into college, I feel like that was the main struggle for me. And it's been a constant struggle for the past 5.5 years, on and off. The end of last year, I just got into a really good place where I felt confident. My self-esteem was through the roof, and I was exercising. I was eating right. I was feeling good. And then the pandemic hit. And I was like, man, I just felt like I was doing so good. And then I just went back down. And so now I'm like climbing back up the ladder, trying to get back to where I was last year. So the pandemic really kind of brought me back to where I was before. But I'm trying to get back up there now.
Well, for me, what I do is, and I tell people, because in the African American community, don't talk about therapy. We don't do that. Pray it away. Oh, that's going to be another show, okay? Because we don't have time to talk about that one right now. Pray it away. Open up the Bible. It'll go away. Yes, you can pray. But sometimes you need to either speak someone or you need to be on, maybe you're not eating right. And I'm saying this to say, again, you have the cows, you have the pigs who are being pumped with GMOs. You don't know what it's doing to your metabolic system. You don't know what it's doing, and that can cause depression and a host of other things. Okay, so let's forget about that. Then we have the pollution that's going on. Then we have, it's just so much. Then you have the everyday stress. Then you have the things that's going on. Forget about your life. We're just talking about all the other stuff. So I'm one to believe that we need to speak to a therapist, a good therapist. Myself, and I've said it openly, I see a therapist, but mine is basically now, because I was seeing her, I wanted to see her 3 times a day, girl. Ooh, I want to keep her in my pocket.
Yeah.
But now I felt like she was divorcing me by, well, Jackie, it's not that you're healed, but you're doing better. So now what we do is the 3,000 miles maintenance. Just like when you have to change your oil every 3,000 miles, what I've decided to do now is to see her once a month. And if I feel that I need to see her more, I will call her. So it's important that we seek therapy. It's important, someone who's doesn't know anything about you, because they'll say, girl, please, ain't nothing wrong with you. Girl, pray that away. Open up your Bible. Look, so I'm glad to see that you are for therapy, and I told my therapist, she's getting older, and I'm like, you're not quitting. I said, you're not. I said, I'm going to find a fountain of youth. We're going to turn you back 6 years earlier, because you don't need to retire. You're not retiring not on my watch. Okay. Right. So especially when you found someone that you feel like has helped you, and you feel like, oh my God, if they go away, what's going to happen? So, and I've not done what a couple of my friends have done. They have they have 2 therapists, one on hold just in case one dies or something. That's exactly what they say. So now that you're in college, you're a senior, you're living at home. I know what you said your mom is thinking. Are you planning for the first couple of years at least staying at home and working, or the minute you find a job, you're going to go out and get an apartment?
Well, the rule is that I get a year after graduation. So I plan on staying a year. If I can leave sooner, I will leave sooner, just because I really want to scratch that itch of being on my own. And I've sort of kind of lived on my own before. I had 2 different apartments, one in Valdosta when I was in Valdosta State, another one in Kennesaw when I was in Kennesaw State. And then when I moved to Clayton State, it was just closer to home, so it just made sense for me to move home.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So me being on my own and then coming back home, eh, I want to be back. I want to be back out there.
Oh, and back out there, why you want to do your own thing? You paying the bills, so you can do come and go as you please, that kind of thing, or you have the freedom, like because and also privacy,
It's mainly the privacy thing.
Mhm.
It's mainly the fact that there's two families here. It's my mom and it's my uncle's family. So it's a lot of us in this house, and I kind of just want to have my own place and to just feel like it's mine.
Right, right, right. So again, I told you you were a great intern. It was just a pleasure working with you. So where do you see yourself? Coronavirus is gone. Everything, it's our other new normal because this is our new normal now. Where do you see yourself in the next 3 years? I'm not going to say 5 years, in the next 3 years, Jade.
Okay, wow, 3 years. I definitely see myself financially stable for sure. I'm not sure what kind of job I want to do yet specifically. I do know I want to stay in the media family, whether it be film, television, social media, anything like that, commercials, anything that has anything to do with media and what people see every day. I definitely want to be involved in that in some sort of way, but I don't know exactly what I want to do yet. Um, Definitely probably editing, social media, something on the verge of that. I,
Okay. What is it? Can you tell us one thing about you that you wish the world knew without you coming out and telling them? You're going to tell us now, but you wish the world knew about Jade. That maybe there's a misconception that people don't know about you, that you wish that people, when they met you or when they meet you, they know automatically. I know that was a good question. I
that
know.
was a good question. Um, Probably that I I feel like I've been too nice and that I say yes to everybody to please everybody. But as of this year, I've realized about myself that I have to come first. So I think I am a very outgoing person. I'm good for pleasing everybody. I love making people happy, but I can't make people happy if I'm not happy.
And I love that you said that because when I'm finding out with a lot of college students, they're not practicing self care. So listen to me carefully. It's okay to say no. It's okay to say no. Whoever don't like it or understand, it's okay. And I that's why with the Women Are Worthy show, for those of you tuning into the Women Are Worthy show, Women Are Worthy Network, we're having a discussion with my intern Jade. She's a senior. She'll be graduating next couple of months. She is doing her major is film production, and we're talking about anxiety, things that college kids are going through right now, especially during the pandemic and in this era, in this world right now. So you have to, and that's why I'm a licensed happiness coach. Yes, licensed happiness coach. You have to make sure you're happy. You have to make sure you're in a good spot. And I find that it's easier when I talk to the college kids because what happens is when you become older, 20, 30, 40, 50, it's hard because by the time you get married, you want to please your husband. By the time you have your child, you want to please your child. So you put your child before your husband, you come last. You put God, everyone's before you. And in reality, it should be God. It should be God, then you, then your husband, your significant other, and then your child. So I want you to make sure you're meditating, you're taking massages if that's what you need. If you need to read, it's okay to say no. So please, going forward, carve out that time for Jade because once you practice this now, it won't be hard later on. You won't be like those other women who are saying, "Oh, I feel guilty because of my baby. I don't want to leave my child." You need time for you. The airplane goes down, they tell you to put the oxygen over yourself. So that's what you need to do. Just do not feel guilty. You have no chick or child right now, girl. Enjoy your life. Okay, enjoy it.
Yeah.
And when people tell you you're selfish, your response is, Thank you very much. It's okay because that's hatration telling you that you're selfish. If you choose not to have children, that's on you. You know what I'm saying? You live your life, you travel, do all those things. So that's what I tell my clients when I'm talking to them about, have you found you're happy? And as women, because we're nurturers, we want to make sure everyone's comfortable and all that kind of stuff. So we don't need to see that. Janet Lynch, hi Janet. She said, glad to see young women understand the importance of loving themselves. Had a fantastic massage today, and I deserve every moment. That's right. We deserve every moment of whatever it is, whether it's downtime, because for me, my downtime, my favorite place, and we can't do it anymore, is the library. Because as you can see, I talk a lot. So when you go to the library, you can't do all that talking, and that's where I unwind. If my husband can't find me, he knows I'm in the library somewhere. So I want women, young women, and your circle of friends, Jade, your responsibility now is to go to your friends in your circle and remind them, hey, did you take a down? Did you have a downtime? What did you do? Get massages. Massages are not luxury anymore. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. I wish insurance companies would pay for that, other from the chiropractic, where, meditation, that should be part of the insurance plan. I wish they would include that, because it's necessary for your mental health and things like that. So Jade, now that we hear that you're a step forward, you're a step ahead from all the other young ladies. You're seeing a therapist,
Yeah.
you're meditating, you're eating, you're trying to eat the best way you can. It sounds like you love yourself. Am I saying that correctly? You
Yeah,
love
I'm definitely getting to 100%. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there.
What is it about Jade that why you should love her?
I feel like I have a good personality. I feel like I have a good spirit, a good soul. Um, I've never been around anyone in my life that tells me otherwise, including myself sometimes. But I feel like I bring out light in people. And that's something that not only I've said to myself, but other people have said to me. So I have no reason to disagree with them. So
Right. That's good. And see, because normally we want to argue. What I love about that, what I love about this is, and let me tell you what I used to do, okay? I haven't done it lately because people have called me self-absorbed, but I don't care. I give less than zero what people think.
Mhm.
So here's the thing. Sometimes I like to be by myself, and some of my friends will call and say, hey, because I used to post when I was at certain restaurants, and then I would have someone like, Jackie, why didn't you tell me you were there? I wanted to come. No, I am my best friend. I'm telling you, when I come outside of my body, I'm like, this Jackie Charles is cool. I want to be her best friend. So what I used to do, don't laugh, and I don't want no judgment, okay?
Okay.
What I used to do is I would go to restaurants, and I have my compact mirror, and I would put it on the table. Don't judge me. Let me finish my story. I would put it on the table, and I would look at myself, and I'm like, hey girl, how you doing? It's great having lunch with you. So the wait staff would come over, and they would think I was crazy. They're like, who's she talking to? And I'm like, I'm having lunch with myself, and I want to see me having lunch with myself. Now that takes a lot of confidence and balls, but I didn't care. So every time I would come to the restaurant, that particular restaurant, they would laugh, and they would send other wait staff over to me, because they're like, you're not going to believe what this lady's doing. Now, I wasn't having alter personalities. I was just because, it takes a lot to do that. And I don't know what made me do that. And then I would like go into the movies. I can do that by myself, no problems whatsoever. I can go out and eat by myself. You go to restaurants, and sometimes they would say, one table for one, only one. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the most important person in this room. That's right, one. Because when they put it at you, you got to make that negative or that disrespect into a positive. So now, because I don't know why it's like crazy to be eating by yourself. It's not because you're lonely. You're not lonely. You're not alone. You just want to do this by yourself, And there's a difference between lonely and being alone. So I'm just telling you what I do. I'm not saying you need to do it, because you got to have a lot of cojones to do that. And
No, I love doing things by myself.
I do. Me too. I mean,
I love it.
the conversation is wonderful because you're talking to yourself in there, you're meditating,
I don't have
you're
to compromise with what I want to do. If I want to do something, I don't have to ask. I don't have to be like, well, what do you want to do? Well, what do you want to eat? What movie do you want to see? I don't have to do that because I just get to do what I want.
hmm
So,
And see, with my husband, like, and I'm married, but we have this thing where when he comes home, he kisses me when I'm home, but he has to go do his stuff for an hour. I need to be, for an hour. Or if I'm
mhm,
coming home, kiss him, and like I gotta unwind for an hour. So I
mhm,
don't have to have someone all up in my face because you need to
yeah.
decompress. Okay, so it's just, I just, again, like I said, it's a pleasure having you. Is there any advice you want to leave, the viewers with? Because I want people to understand we have more women like you that are graduating who grasp taking care of themselves, loving themselves, supporting other women. So here's a question we have to talk about before we end the show. Why do you think it's important that women support each other?
Because I don't feel like any man will understand what women go through unless you're pretty much in our shoes. And I feel like being a minority as a woman, it's a different level playing field. And I don't think most men understand how that feels. And I feel like it's easier to talk to women about women problems because I understand what you're saying, you understand what I'm saying, we're here, we get it, versus me trying to talk to my brother or my dad or my boyfriend and they're like, okay, well, I can't relate. It's a different level. So I feel like it's good to have women as a support, and it's good to have women on your side and good to have women to talk to. I make it my mission to have a woman therapist because you understand what I'm coming forth as a woman versus a man. I've heard multiple times women are so emotional, women don't think with logic from men. So it's like, okay, well, I can't really talk to you about this because you think I'm just emotional versus me actually expressing my feelings as everyone should. Let me talk to a woman who understands what I'm talking about. And that's good to
I
support.
agree. I agree because I have a guy friend and he's always saying, he'll say things like, oh, people are just being emotional, but he's really talking about women. And I
Mhm.
hate that because I wasn't a girl's girl at first. Women were just driving me crazy, just
Mhm.
watching them, what they would do and the crabs in a barrel mentality. But somehow God changed me, and I find all my male practitioners, and now I have women practitioners, and
Mhm.
we're all in alignment and on the same page. They get me, I get them, from my PCP to my acupuncture to my
Mhm.
everything. I mean, I was in an accident, I saw a chiropractor and he happened to be male, but other than that, my regular doctors,
Mhm.
I want them to be females.
Mhm.
I cannot see myself, I never understood this, but again, it's not judging. Being pregnant, having a baby, and having a male doctor delivering your baby. I never understood women who did that. I wasn't judging. I just didn't get it because,
Mhm.
especially when you're a woman and you have your cycle and you go into, because I remember once when I was younger, I went to the GYN. And when you're getting that, it's uncomfortable. When you're getting your pap smear and stuff, that's
Mhm.
uncomfortable. And he actually pat me really hard on my butt cheeks and like, come on, open up, open. And he was rushing me. And I said, from then on, and I
Mhm.
said to him, you don't know what this feels like. What I would like you to do is lay down on the table. Let me insert the speculum in your rectum and you'll see what it feels like. And he
Right.
looked at me like, oh my God, because I thought that was so disrespectful for him to like, come on, come on, come on. And I'm like, wait a minute. So for
Very
me,
intimate. Very intimate
it's
process.
intimate. And when you have your cycle and if you have cramps, a female doctor, whether she hears more people and she can more
Mhm.
sympathize with it. I'm not against male, GYN doctors. I am just saying for me and Jackie, I want to see someone that looks like me. When
Mhm.
I'm going to, I don't mean necessarily meaning a black woman, but you gotta have a vagina for me
Mhm.
to understand, and I just don't get it, but it is what it is because I've heard horror stories from my girlfriends who gave birth and their doctor was male, and oh, the pain's not hard. Come on, you can do it. You can.
Mhm.
No. And again, we're not male bashing because the Women Are Worthy show, we're not about male bashing. We just want to, because we interview men, we just want this to be on a level playing field, and for maybe guys, doctors, male doctors, to be more sympathetic and empathetic. Um, so, oh yeah, Janet, I don't play with them doctors. Oh, baby. Yes. That's why my doctors used to call me Pitbull in the skirt. But this was just my own doctor because someone referred me to him. And I'm like, I don't want a guy down there. But I saw him and the way he treated me, I mean, it was just horrible. I told him it was cold. He warmed it up. And when he put it back in, it was burning up because back then it wasn't the plastic one that they're using now. It was actually metal. And when I say I thought I had third-degree burns, it was horrible. But you live and you learn. And always remember, Jade, to use your voice. You have the opportunity to say yes or no and live with whatever decisions you make. Do not go to the next level blaming yourself for whatever it is that you made a mistake. You made a mistake. You suck it up, you move on. You may have that pity party, maybe 72 hours rule for me, and then you step it up. You know what I'm saying? You keep
I'm still trying to do that. I'm still trying to give myself a good time to feel the way that I feel and then move on. I'm having a very hard time moving on from things. And like my mom always tells me, to trust the process and just know that anything that happens to you happens for you. And so I'm just trying really hard to, let things just pass through and then let it run its course and then get out of my body.
because you're a
I'm working on.
You have to remember, you have to go through things in order to grow. Again, growing hurts. It's painful. That's like when you're a young girl and your breast starts coming in and it hurts. That's what, oh, I gotta write that down. I become a PhD. No, but it's a process. And it took me a while to understand that. And you have to go through things because what you're going through today may help you 20 years from now or help someone else. And then you don't go through that again. But don't worry about like, oh my God, how long should it take? That's just like when someone, a woman is married and her husband dies and she gets married 6 months later. Everyone's like, oh my God, she must have cheated on her husband. That's not for us to make that decision. You have to make that decision when it's time for you to get up and move past the process. But I want you to love yourself during this process. I want you to forgive yourself no matter what it is, because at the end of the day, how do you expect love if you don't know how to love yourself? How do you expect How can you forgive other people? Because I'm pretty sure you're probably, no, I shouldn't say that. There are some women out there that can forgive people of anything, and they make one error and they can't forgive themselves. And when you do that to yourself, you're creating all these emotions and all these anxieties on the inside that one day that well has to burst, that dam has to burst. So I just want you, those are the tips that I want to give you. If I can't give you anything, I want to give you those nuggets to forgive yourself, love yourself. You come first. No, there's no such thing. Your husband comes before you. There's no such thing as your child comes before you. A child should never come before a parent. And I'm sure I'm going to get emails on this. When I hear women talking about, oh, my child come first. No, because it's the same thing as if you're on the plane, your child doesn't come first. Because if you put so much into your child, what happens when you're in the hospital? What happens when you go? And I think as a parent, we owe it to our children to give them as much resources as we can while we're here. So God forbid if something happens, but a child should not become before a parent. When I hear these women say these things, it drives me bad. And then again, that's just me. I may get letters, I may get emails, but I'm never going to change that. You come before your child. God comes before you. It's God, you, your husband or significant other, and then your child. So there isn't anything wrong. That's the law of nature. That's what it should be. But so with that saying, are you, because we're not going to talk about if you had the opportunity to travel, where would be the first place you'd like to travel?
Definitely somewhere tropical.
That ain't giving me nothing.
Probably Bora Bora.
Okay. I like that. Well, again, like I said, so you're out there looking for work in film production and filming and editing, anything that, so I want to put that out there as well because you're a great person. I've seen your videos that you've posted. I can't wait for everyone to see that on our social media page. Again, thank you for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to the Women Are Worthy Network on YouTube. Our YouTube channels, the Women Are Worthy Network, with tons of videos are going to go out. We have tons in the can that we're editing at the moment that will be put on the network. Please make sure to subscribe and like our Facebook and Instagram channel, which is the Women Are Worthy Show. It's the Women Are Worthy Show on Instagram and Facebook. And we're going to be doing more things. I'm telling y'all, we have some amazing, just like Jade's interview. We had, as a wonderful intern, we're going to have so many amazing shows that we're going to be doing. We have amazing guests. I can't say anything. Next week we'll be off for the holidays. I can't remember. Jade, listen, I'm preaching to y'all, telling y'all need to do this, y'all need to do that. Girl, I've been burning the midnight oil on both ends. So finally next week I'll have the week off from shows, but we'll put things up there to have people watch and stuff like that. Janet said it was nice meeting Jade. She said have a great evening.
Thank you.
So, young lady, you're a flower. I want you to go out. I want you to bloom. Make sure if there's tornadoes, hurricanes, rainstorms, snowstorms, just make sure you find your covering. And once everything goes away, continue to bloom. Plant your seeds into other young women. Make sure they grow. Don't forget to let your light shine.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So this is Jacqueline Charles, your host and creator of the Women Are Worthy Show and the Women Are Worthy Network. Thank you for joining my intern and myself, Miss Jade Dupree. Y'all, she's an adult. Now she got to do the adulting stuff. She gonna have to pay some bills. Baby, you ain't gonna want to leave that house. Pay some bills. She's gonna travel. She's gonna get her own apartment, her car. So she's gonna be an adult. So we're gonna talk to the adult Jade in 2021 to see 2022 to see what's going on with her. Because I want to make sure you keep in contact with me. I want to know once a month, call me, let me see what's going on with you. And, I want to connect with you and not just after, Women Are Worthy, beyond Women Are Worthy.
Okay, definitely.
Okay. So thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful evening. It was great. Bye-bye.